Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As you should know by law, the leader of the free world, the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, visits the Middle East. And he started with the Jewish state. I have to be politically correct so I can score some points, you know what I mean? So he's in the state, he arrived and landed nicely in the state of Israel. He met the prime minister over there and they had a little hora and they bumped fists, they shook hands and so on. But the problem is not that he bumped fists or he had to shake hands because he couldn't appear to be too standoffish, you know what I mean? The problem is not that, the problem is President Biden will go and meet Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia during the weekend. So a lot of people are asking, how is President Biden going to greet the prince? Will they shake hands? Will they bump fists? You know what I mean? Will they say hi, hi, bye, bye from a distance? And I can tell him that they should not be worried. That will be determined. Biden will do what it's been determined by his handlers, his advisors. So, nevertheless, they have a good time here in Israel, in the state, the Jewish state, and they made a little, how should I put it, they got in a contradiction about Iran. So they both agreed, the Prime Minister of Israel and the President of the United States, agreed that Iran somehow, they decided, should not have nuclear weapons. Only some countries, because the cosmic justice and the universal, intelligence decided only a few countries should have and everybody else should not. The reason, it's safer because these guys are the good guys and other people might act stupidly. Very possible, but nevertheless. So they did not have a problem with deciding that Iran should not acquire a nuclear weapon. The problem was what methods should be used to deter or prevent Iran from acquiring one. And this is where the United States position differs from the Jewish state's position, and then they contradicted one another live in front of everyone. So here it is. This article comes from USA Today from July 14th, 2022, and I'm reading, tensions over Iran nuclear deal disrupt Biden's Kumbaya's moment in Israel. President Joe Biden's meetings with Israeli leaders on Thursday delved into divisions over how to keep Iran from becoming a nuclear power. At first, it was mostly kumbaya between Biden and new Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid. With the Prime Minister at his side, Biden said that bilateral meeting was a good beginning of what's going to be a long, God-willing relationship between the two leaders. What kind of God? Don't mention Jesus Christ over there, okay? All right, and I'm quoting what Biden said, and please pay attention. I'm going to, anyway, make you aware of the words I'm very interested in. And I'm quoting, I think the vast majority of the American public, not just my administration, is completely devoted. So the vast majority of Americans is completely devoted, 100%, to Israel's security, Biden declared. Okay, all right. The president acknowledged that he and Lapid discussed his administration's desire to revive a nuclear deal with Iran brokered by the US and other world powers in 2015. And the deal curbed Iran's nuclear enrichment capabilities, but Tehran stopped adhering to its limits after the Trump administration withdrew from the pact. So you remember that thing? A deal is a deal, a contract is a contract? I guess not. If you have the balls, you just trample everything. So when the European Union was crying towards the Russians, when the Russians, okay, you're going to pay in rubles. Hey, no. A contract is a contract. And Russians did what? The same thing the Americans did with this guy. Yeah, okay. Bye-bye. So, and it says now, he said, I'm quoting, there will be no nuclear Iran. This is not only a threat to Israel, but to the world, Biden said. And we discussed some other issues we are going to keep to ourselves. Like what? Ladies of the night? Get that out of your mind. But at a news conference later, Lapid lectured Biden on the issue. In prepared remarks, the Israeli leader pushed Biden to change course on Iran. What do you mean change course? What course? They already decided, agreed on that. Well, you find out. Lapid said no amount of words or diplomacy will stop Iran from further developing its nuclear power. So Lapid said words and diplomacies will not work. Okay. That implies what works? This. And I'm quoting again, the only way to stop them is to put a credible military threat on the table, Lapid told Biden. So you can use it, right? You don't just threat. Biden said in his opening remarks that he would be maintaining his approach. And I'm quoting, I continue to believe that diplomacy is the best way to achieve this outcome and will continue to work with Israel to counter other threats from Iran throughout the region. End quote. Lapid said later that no daylight exists between the two allies on the desired outcome, which is keeping Iran from becoming a nuclear power. The US president said Iran has an opportunity to accept the agreement that is before them. If they don't, we made absolutely clear, we will not, let me say it again, we will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. So it's take it or leave it. Is that how we negotiate? And Iran is going to say, yes, 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 we do that. Iran is going to say, read between the lines. You know what I mean? All right. The US and Israel also issued a joint statement outlining areas of consensus and launched a partnership of emerging technologies. Yeah, we got that. All right. So it's a lot here, but the idea is improving relations because they will be strained because of, the guys want to revive that pact or not pact agreement with Iran. Well, the idea is this. Iran is a sovereign country. You can call it a terrorist country, but if you use the same standards to other states in the region, they meet the criteria to be called the same way. Bombs, assassinations, and all that. So, not attempts, assassinations. And that's a state sponsored by their, like CIA, like we have CIA, they have their, departments. So nevertheless, you can't have that because these guys decided, okay, don't have that. But then they decide how they would figure things out. And besides, that's Russia's territory over there. They provide the uranium, right? They do that. They supervise or whatever. Do you think that Russia would like Iran to have nuclear weapons? They said it many times. It's not going to happen. But where would they have it? To counter Israel or something with its things? You know what I mean? I don't think, because what if Iran uses it? Then everything explodes and they cannot be controlled. So yeah, these guys are going to try to deter Iran from having it. But on the other hand, I have no problem with countries having peaceful, atomic energy and use it for energy and so on. I'm 100% for that. So they disagree on how to deter them. One said we need to have a gun and talk to them, and the other one said, no, let's talk to them. No, we'll see which one works. And Israel is not going to take unilateral, matters in its own hand, unilaterally take the matter in its own hands, because it's not that easy. Iran is not Iraq, 20 million, okay? I think they're 80 million or something. So population and the size and army, it's a little bit different, and it also has allies. All right. Excuse me. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.